All of us have a calling on our life, a purpose that God has given us to fulfill here on earth. There's something that He's put your name on that He wants to partner with you in and bring to fruition. That doesn't mean that it'll be easy, or that you won't face opposition, but when you walk in it with Him and His way, there is nothing that can stop you. Romans 8:31 says, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" In life, and especially when we are walking out the call of God in our life, there will be opposition. We will come up against obstacles, roadblocks, and so on. But that isn't what we focus on when we're walking out our calling. It's important to know who we're walking it with, knowing that God is the one who gave it to us and that He is the one equipping and empowering us to fulfill it. No, I'm not saying that those road bumps aren't important in some ways, but they're not what we need to be consumed with when walking out our calling. There are things that God wants to teach us in them, and He will use them to develop our character along the way. So we need to pay attention, but we also have to balance that. Because if we allow ourselves to be consumed by the problems that we've come up against, then we've lost sight of what truly matters. We have to learn to set our sights on Jesus. When we're walking out the calling that He has for us, and not our own desires or passions apart from Him, there's nothing that can stand against us. Whatever tries to stop us will fall, and it's only a matter of time and obedience when we focus on God and follow His direction. Psalm 46 verses 1-3 say, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling." We don't need to fear these problems that come up against us on our walk with God, because we're not doing it in our own strength. Now, if we are working out our calling by our own strength, wisdom, and power, then we do have reason to fear, because those things will fail us. But when we let God teach us to lean on Him, to draw from His strength in any and every situation, and we let Him teach us and give us His wisdom, there isn't a thing to fear, because the whole world could fall down around us and we would be safe and sound in God's hands. It is very easy to get caught up in all of the noise of this world and to get distracted from the things that God wants to show us, give us, or have us experience. But that's just it. They are distractions. When we're walking out our calling and Satan can't get us to turn away from God or to fall off, the next best thing that he tries is to distract us. Because if he can get us to focus on the things around us, or get us to give our attention to the things and battles that God has not called us to fight, he knows that at worst we will miss the things that God has for us, and that at best we will slow down or nerf the potency and fulfillment of our calling. The noise and voices of this world can get very loud. And that's why it's so important that we slow down and listen to the still, small voice of God. That we make sure our focus is on Him and not all of the things around us. When He is first and foremost in our lives, and we hear and follow His leading, everything else will fall into place. Remember, He is our strength and our refuge. He is a very present help in trouble. He doesn't need or want us to be consumed or worried with the problems and things that He's already worked out and handled. Luke 1:37 says, "For nothing will be impossible with God." One of the biggest distractions that Satan will try to put right in front of our face is the impossibility of fulfilling the calling that God has revealed to us. And sometimes Satan will present a partial truth to us in hopes to deceive us and pull us away from the other side of that truth. With our calling, for example, if God were to reveal the entirety of what He wants to do in, with, and through us and our lives, we would fall down in disbelief because of how impossible it seems for us to walk those things out. And oftentimes, when God reveals parts of our calling, it often feels so far beyond us. And that's the thing that Satan gets right. It is beyond our capability, but that isn't where it stops. We don't give up because the thing God wants to do in our life is so far beyond us. That's actually what He wants us to lean into. He wants us to understand that we cannot do this thing called life, and that we cannot fulfill the things He has on our lives alone. We do it through Him. When we come to the end of ourselves, we come to the beginning of God. What is impossible for us is possible with God. There's nothing that He cannot do. And if He has called you to something, He will equip and empower you to fulfill it. We live in relationship with God, and we live in partnership with Him. He wants to bring things through you and your life, and He wants to bring His kingdom through you. And there are things that He wants to introduce into human history through you, because He wants to bring us on an adventure with Him. He wants us to be able to partner with Him in His beautiful work. But we don't do it by ourselves. We cannot do it by ourselves. There is nothing impossible for Him. And even the things that once seemed so far beyond you are possible when you walk with Him. You won't believe the things He has in store for you and the adventure that He wants to take you on. So spend time with Him and let Him reveal to you the calling that He has for your life. Let Him show you and guide you every step of the way. Let Him give you His strength, His wisdom, and His power. Let Him show you that He is the God of the impossible. Go spend some time with Him.